Hey everybody, what's up? It is about 1:47 heaven, very early Sunday morning, and if you want to consider it, very late Saturday night, wherever you may be. Yeah, it's basically, if you live in Hawaii, the day before the Rumble, and if you live here in the Pacific, North and, well, you kind of get the idea, California. You're essentially 5 to 5, 4 to 5, 3 to 5. Let's see, 5 to 5 is 12, 4 to 5 is 13, 3 to 5 is 14, 2 to 5 is 15. So basically about 15 hours and 13 minutes away from the Royal Rumble. And I hope to have this up before then. But speaking of the Royal Rumble, again, I was going to do this yesterday. I was going to do it on Friday, which would be yesterday if you live in Hawaii, but didn't have the time to. So I figured I might as well do it now. Now, basically the way I do things is I predict and I book. Basically, I kind of predict what I'd like to see of the fan, and I book it the way I think it's going to be booked. But then I kind of throw in a few cents here and there. So, how do I see this event going down? Well, first of all, the pre-show. Now, the pre-show usually has had a few surprises, but it's just an average, regular, I guess you could say Saturday morning, or more so main event and type match that precedes the actual pay-per-view. In this case, it's Antonio Cesaro taking on Miz with the United States Championship on the line. Now, Antonio won the United States Championship on a pre-show. Let's not forget that. He beat Santino. Antonio beat Santino for the United States Championship on a pre-show. So, it would be kind of ironic that they would have Miz beat him for the title on pre-show. But many have been saying that they don't see it happen. Maybe a few see it happening, but most have been saying no. And looking at it from a booking standpoint, I definitely would say it's not going to happen. I mean, booking wise, it's kind of almost 50-50, but I think it's more 55-45, if you will. In other words, the extra 5%, the extra 10, it's kind of 50-45 side of it, 55-40, whatever you want to call it, 50-45. The 45 being on Miz's side, so I kind of see the kind of like 45% of the booking team may want Miz to have it and walk into the Rumble match itself as champion. Well, 50% will want Antonio to retain, and booking wise, I definitely see it being favored with Antonio to retain. I mean, getting a win over the Miz, especially since Miz is the former WWE champion, would be a big deal. Much bigger than his wins over, like, say, the great Khali. Prediction-wise, as a fan, I'd like to see them keep it on to Antonio and then have someone else come in and win it. And who that person is, well, I'll get into that when I talk about the Rumble match. Okay, as far as the actual pay-per-view itself goes, I know we're going to get a Divas match. I don't know if it's going to be a title match or a multi-diva match. I don't know. I mean, you have the NXT Divas over there, at the Rumble Fan Fest. So it's got to be some kind of Divas thing taking place. So I can't say what it will be, but all I know is we're going to have a Divas match. I know that's going to happen because you can't have the Rumble without a Divas match. As far as the other matches that are actually signed for the Rumble that we know of, excuse me. Let's take a look at the Tag Team Championship match. Team Hell No against the Rhodes Scholars. Now, a lot of people have been saying that this is the time, this is it, this is the opportunity for Team Rhodes Scholars to become the Tag Team Champions. And I totally agree. And this is where, as a fan, I would like to see Team Rhodes Scholars win the tag team titles. I would like to see them finally win them. But booking wise, you still have some momentum behind Team Hell No. and with people saying that they've been defending at live events their titles against members of the Shield, that kind of might make you look booking wise that, you know, WWE might say they want Team Hell No to retain, but then lose them later on down the line to either the Rhodes Scholars or more so the Shield. But booking wise, to me, it's kind of 50-50. This is actually kind of an up and down thing. It's 50-50 because 50%, because half of the booking team I know want to finally give the Rhodes Scholars those tag team titles, but I know the other 50% want to keep the momentum going with Team Hell No. So it's kind of 50-50. So it's kind of up in the air with that, booking wise. Prediction wise, as a fan, I would like to see Cody and Damian walk out with tag team gold. As far as the World Heavyweight Championship match goes between Alberto Del Rio and Big Show, a lot of scenarios could come out of this. A lot of people are saying that Del Rio will retain. He will retain somehow, but that will have a cash-in at the end. That's right. There's a lot of people that are saying, a majority, you could probably pretty much say 75% of the fan base, the insiders and everything are all saying that Del Rio will retain the World Heavyweight Championship. But at the same time, you have that 75% of fans and insiders, if you will, that are saying that you'll also have a Dolph Ziggler cash-in take place. Now, as much as anybody, you know, I'd like to see Dolph finally cash it in. I mean, he's had it longer than anybody so far. He's tied the longest with Edge as the longest running holder of, or the longest running Money in the Bank holder, or briefcase carrier, whatever you want to call it. So I'd like to see it happen, and I'd like to see him walk into the Royal Rumble with the World Heavyweight Championship. But as much as I'd like to see it, and I'm sure the other 75% would, I think the 25% that feel that Del Rio will retain, or the 20% I should say that feel Del Rio will retain, feel that's just how it's going to go. And here's why. If you have Ziggler cash in, which would be great, you'd basically be pulling him out of the Royal Rumble match, because storyline wise, knowing the WWE, if they do this, storyline wise, they would have Vicky say, okay, you're the world champion now, but guess what? Because you cashed in, you're out of the Rumble match. I mean, honestly, if they're planning to make him one of the final four or two in the match, I don't think it's going to happen. You got to look at it from that perspective. So I hate to say this, but booking wise, I think you're going to have to go with that 20% that feel Del Rio's going to win. And I think that's how it's going to be booked. Del Rio's going to win without no cash-ins or anything like that. But then again, you also have that 5 to 10% that feel Big Show will retain, and that's how Ziggler will win it. But again, I think they're going to stick with Del Rio. I think they're going to book it to where Del Rio will win without anything happening afterwards. So expect Del Rio to have a physical match, but to retain without any possible cash-in taking place whatsoever. Okay. Now, and as a fan, I predict Del Rio to win as well, but as a fan, I would like to see a cash-in, but I just don't see it happening. I don't. As far as the WWE Championship goes, wow. This one's kind of a toss-up, because this one's been one of the most talked about championship matches ever since it was announced back at Raw 1000. I mean, everybody pretty much knew going from that moment on to now, it was going to be The Rock and CM Punk. Yeah, I'll give WWE credit for trying to throw a wrench in there and trying to throw us off with the likes of Cena and Ryback, and even Big Show. I'll give them that. But to me, we all pretty much knew this was going to happen. This was going to be the match. But there's been a lot of things surrounding this match as well. According to several sources, backstage, away from the camera and stuff like that. You see, CM Punk has some creative control back there, or has some kind of influence, if you will. Now, rumors have been speculating, and I read about this about a month ago or so, I should say, where someone stated, and I think it was at Ringside News, and I think PW Torch picked it up, and other sites picked this up as well, and I'm not too sure if this was actually true or not, but there was a rumor going around that CM Punk would not be happy, or that there might be hell to pay or something like that, if CM Punk was booked to drop the title to The Rock. That was one thing that was being talked about at several websites, being reported, or rumored, I should say, rumored about, that there would be hell to pay. Now, I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate. I'm not sure if that was all true, or if that was just a rumor that got started. Because, let's face it, we all know that there's a lot of IWC fans out there, IWC fans, and who want Punk to retain. These are IWC Ring of Honor fans that want Punk to retain because they don't like the idea of someone like The Rock coming in who only has a very limited schedule, probably more limited than Brock Lesnar, coming in and winning the championship and being what many people are predicting to be a transitional champion. And you know what? I agree. You shouldn't have to put on someone like, The Rock, who has a very limited schedule, more limited than Brock. But the way I see it is they obviously part of the deal to bring Rock back was they promised they agreed maybe, that I'm thinking the part of the deal was he was going to become champion. He was going to get one last run, even if it was going to be a few months, with the championship. So, that's the way I see it. Rock was going to get one more run with the championship. So that's why he's getting this. Now again, I understand there's a lot of people in the IWC, Ring of Honor and all that don't like this. And I agree with them, but you know what? If Rock is willing to come back and work with the WWE again, they have to do something to, they have to do something besides agree to certain terms. They got to basically say, okay, what can we do to really get you to be part of the group again, be part of the team again? And to me, promising him an opportunity to be champion is doing it. I mean, they could have easily not had Rock. They could have easily had Rock come back and say, hey, we just need you to do a few dates and all that, and that's it. No, they actually had him come back, and I'm thinking again, the reason they did it was because they want him to have they promised him one last run. Excuse me. Let me check my time here. Okay, I got about a minute to go, minute and 10 seconds. But they promised him one last run with the championship. So, I'm guessing that's why this is happening. Now, like I said, I know a lot of people don't like the idea of Rock getting that shot, but what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? And let me check my time here.